Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to our congregants who are here with us this evening for Shabbat services, and welcome to those who are on Facebook Live streaming with us. It's so nice to know we have an extensive community here and there to join together to bring in Shabbat. So we will begin our service with Yedid Nefesh, page 12. Yedid Nefesh Av Harachama Mishavtecha Eretzonecha Yaruzavtecha Kemo Hayam Just a few minutes ago, or a little while ago, I thought about the idea of Kabbalat Shabbat happening while the sun is setting, right? That beautiful moment where the sky turns all different colors, and you know that it's about to set, and yet the beauty is inexplicable. So this morning, Rafi called me, my husband called me from Tel Aviv, where he's working for a few weeks. And he let me see the views and the sun about to set. So if that's an image that you have from a visit to Israel yourself, then I'd invite you to think about that moment where you've watched a sun about to cross over and to set. And if there's another sunset that you love and cherish in your memory, think about that. We're going to turn to Lechuna Ranana, which is really about singing out to God because we feel overwhelmed with gratitude. So what is it that you feel grateful for this week? It's been a crazy one. What do you feel grateful for? Try that with us. we turn to page 24, Shir Ladonai Shir Chadash, let's sing a new song. As we turn to page 26, at the bottom of the page, Or Zarua Latzadik, who is it that's brought some light into your week this week? Was there someone who brought a little bit of extra light into your week?
Or Zarua Latzadik, Ule Yisrael Simcha. 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 Yadada, 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 Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, ve'odu lezecher kodsho. Simchu tzadikim b'Adonai, ve'odu lezecher kodsho.
Continuing on page 28, Zamru Ladonai Bechinor. Sing out to God, the psalmist says, with your harp and with your voice, with your song. How might we express our love to God, to each other, a little bit better over Shabbat?
Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor, ve'kol zimra. Zamru Ladonai Bechinor, Bechinor, ve'kol zimra. Zameru l'Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor, Vekol Zimra. Zameru l'Adonai Bechinor, Bechinor, Vekol Zimra.
We turn to page 30 at the bottom of the page. Romamu Adonai Eloheinu, what does it mean to feel joy? Something that brought you joy this week.
Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehar kodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu.
Turning to page 34.
Yalai, 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 yalai. Mizmor leDavid,
We pause at this time as we transition from Kabbalat Shabbat into our Mariv service to remember with reverence the yahrzeits of our beloved departed that are observed up and through tonight, the 25th day of Sivan. Stuart Bass, Hilford Allen Kaplan, David Rodman Cohan, Martin Cohen, Shari Cohen, Selma Engorn, Edward Gelblum, Tilly Gendison, Sandra Horowitz, Matthew Klein, Joseph Covens, Reba Kronthal, Rebecca C. Kruger, Julie Lando, Mr. Joseph B. O'Donnell, Sarah Offit, Joseph Snyder, Ruth Thaler, Bertha Weinberg, Dennis H. Wiener, Muriel Wolfer, and Laser Wolf. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may their memories always be a blessing. And will those who are in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit please join me in reciting the Mourner's Kaddish. The words can be found on page 124. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bi'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi Shmei Rab B'mevarach le'olam ol maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei kudesha brechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiran v'alma v'yimeru. Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru. Amen. May your loved ones' memories always be a blessing. We turn back in our Sidurim to page 38 for Lecha Dodi.
Lecha Dodi likrat kala. Shamor v'zachor b'di borechad. Kishvianu elam yuchad Adonai echad. U'shemo echad. L'shem u'letiferet. V'litila lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekavila. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'melcha. Ki mekor abiracha merosh miketen nezucha. Sof ma'aseh v'machshava techila. Lecha dodi likrat kala. B'nei Shabbat nekavila.
We continue on page 40, the last two stanzas.
Yaminu smol tifrotzi vet Adonai taritzi al yarish vein parti venismecha venagila olecha dodi likrat kala penei Shabbat nekavila. בשלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת יקבלה, הולך דודי לקראת כלה, פני שבת נקבלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
We remain standing as we extend our condolences to those of our members who have been bereaved over this past week. We extend our condolences to the family of the late Alvin Bloom, to the family of the late Maya Fishman, and to the family of the late Frank Goldstein. I'd like to invite you to join me on the bottom of page 41 as we extend the traditional words extended to mourners. Hamakom yinachem etchem betoch sha'ar avalei Zion v'Yerushalayim. May the Holy One who comforts Israel grant you solace in your bereavement. We remain standing and we turn to page 50 for the Baruch.
Baruch hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach leolam va'ed.
We are seated. We turn to page 51 for our responsive reading. O Lord, your word brings on the evening twilight. The heavens proclaim your glory. Help us to recognize your guiding power in distant galaxies and in our souls. Source of peace, bless our worship. May our meditations find favor in your sight. So that like the changing seasons, the days, the nights, our lives too will all proclaim your glory.
Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid imloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Hamari v'aravi.
Turning to page 52.
Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, Amecha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, chukim u'mishpatim, otanu lemadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, tishofeinu v'kumeinu, nasiach v'chukecha, v'nismach v'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam va'ed. Yihem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, u'bahem nehyeh yomam v'layla, ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohei v'amor ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We're seated and we continue quietly on page 56.
והיה נשמת
And we join together in the middle of page 57. Therefore, keep these words of mine in your heart and in your soul. Bind them as a sign upon your arm and let them be a reminder above your eyes. Teach them to your children, speaking of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down at night and when you rise up in the morning. Write them upon the doorposts of your homes and upon your gates. Thus your days and the days of your children will be multiplied on the land which the Lord promised to your ancestors, for as long as the heavens remain over the earth. Page 58.
ויאמר אדוני אל משה לאמור דבר Adonai Elohechem Emet.
Continuing in the middle of page 60.
Freedom, 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 sing freedom, 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 mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar ba'kodesh. Sing freedom, 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 freedom. Nora tehilo, oh say vele. Nora tehilo, oh say vele. Sing freedom, 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 freedom. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה, זה אלי ענו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
We pause now for our responsive reading, which can be found on page 63. And without extending prior invitations, I feel like we should race the bima, see who wants to come first. Sure, David, come on up. Yay! David Seffel. So as David ascends the bima, I'll share that when Cantor Blatt was planning tonight's service, she was planning it because this month is an LGBT month where we raise awareness and educate and also celebrate unique parts of each of us. And then today we had a court ruling which made freedom feel very complicated. So you're going to notice that there's a theme today to her words, which is for the month that we celebrate different sorts of sexual freedom, but today, freedom, I'm going to leave the rest to you. We're going to turn to page 63, and David will lead us on the top of the page.
Help us, O God, to lie down in peace and awaken us to life on the morrow. Shield us, we pray, against our foes, against disease, destruction, and sorrow.
Strengthen us against the forces of evil which abound on every side.
May we always sense your loving care, for you are our merciful God and sovereign.
Guard us always and everywhere. Bless us with life and peace.
Praise to you, O God of peace, whose love is always with us.
Who shelters your people Israel and protects Jerusalem in love.
ושמור צאתנו ואוהנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים יתגדל.
Did I skip one? Yeah. Page 64, Vishamru.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה אמן בעלמא דברה חירותי והמליך מלכותי וחייכון ויום נכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בגלה וזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם 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 יתברך וישתבח יתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ושירתה ושפחתה ונחמתה דמירה מעלמה ויאמרו אמן.
We turn to the Amidah, beginning on page 69 and continuing through page 76. The Amidah recited quietly for Ma'ariv. Page 74, Shalom Ra'ah.
Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha ve'ata kol yoshvei tevel. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha tasim le'olam. Ki ata melech adon lechol ha'zmanon.
turn to page 80, Vayechulu Hashemayim. And we're seated. Vayechulu Hashemayim, in many ways, it's a prayer that speaks of rest. And it reminds us, I think, all that our souls need to rejuvenate. Sometimes after a busy week, sometimes after a crazy week, and sometimes just because. What might you be able to gift yourself over the next 25 hours to give yourself just a little bit of space for your soul to rejuvenate?
ויחולו השמיים והארץ וכל צבאם ויכל אלוהים ביום השביעי מלאכתו אשר עשה וישפוט ביום השביעי מכל מלאכתו אשר עשה ויברך אלוהים את יום השביעי ויקדש אותו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו כי בו שבת מכל מלאכתו אשר ברא אלוהים לעשות.
Page 82.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו אלוהי אבותינו אלוהי אברהם אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב אלוהי שרה אלוהי רבקה אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא אל עליון קונה שמיים וארץ מגן אבות בדברו מחיי מתים במאמרו האל הקדוש שאין כמוהו המניח לעמו ביום שבת קודשו כי בם רצה להניח להם כי בם רצה להניח להם לפניו נעבוד ביראה ופחד ונודה לשמו בכל יום תמיד מעין הברכות אל ההודעות אדון השלום מקדש השבת ומברך שלי ומניח בקדושה להעמיק קדוש נאוני זכר למעשה וראשית יתקרב יתקדש שמי רבה בעלמא תברח רותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי כל בית ישראל בקלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי קודשה בריחו לילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן בעלמה ואמרו אמן תתקבל סלוטון ובוטון דכל קודם ובהון דשמיא ואמרו אמן יהי שלום הרבה מן שמיא וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן עושה שלום במרומיו הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו
We rise as we turn to page 90 for Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, אשר קידשנו במצוותיו ורצה בנו, ושבת קודשו באהבה וברצון הנחילנו, זיכרון למעשה וראשית. כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת.
Amen.
Chaim.
It's maybe one of the few things that I miss about Friday nights on Zoom, or people could have their own drinks, right? Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So earlier I had mentioned that when Cantor Blatt was thinking about tonight, she was thinking about that it is a month that is dedicated to LGBTQ, celebration of diversity, and also appreciation for all of the possibilities of love. But one of the things I was thinking about as I shared that with you was also that that today, of course, there was a Supreme Court decision, which was a very big deal. And then I got all caught up in that, and David came up so generously to recite the prayer for us, and then I totally forgot about COVID, and so I gave him a kiss and a hug and a squeeze of love, like all of these things. And the funny thing is that as I was thinking that through, like I shouldn't have given kisses during COVID, I thought, like, my gosh, there's no end to what we're holding right now. So Nadia Bowles-Weber, who is a minister in a church that I love the name of, it is called the Church for Sinners and Saints, was writing a piece a while back, and she said that we each have one bucket of water, like we have a bucket of water. And with our bucket of water, we can use it to put out probably a fire, right? Some fire somewhere our bucket will contribute to putting out. But the challenge she highlighted, which has really resonated with me, is that when there are a lot of fires to put out, how do you figure out where to sort of lend your water, right? To add your bucket full of water to extinguishing which fire, especially when so many things feel really important. So in the Torah reading that, actually I'm going to pause there for a minute and say that that's one of the things that I love most about Shabbat personally, is that I feel like most days of the week, I'm like walking around with my heavy bucket of water trying to figure out which fire to put out or which issue to confront or address or advocate for or stand up to or give to. Anyone else know that feeling? And then comes Shabbat, and what God says is Shabbat vaynafash, like, you know what? Put down your bucket and just be. Stop trying to fix, to mend, to heal, to improve. And for 25 hours, just put down your bucket and see what changes. Because the truth is that when we put down our buckets and we stop feeling the heaviness and the feeling of overwhelmed and the dizzying sense of like, what's next? It's in those moments where we can actually not only reconnect with ourselves, but also start to think with more clarity, have a renewed sense of vision, start to actually really contemplate issues and causes and needs. But it's really hard to do it when you're carrying a really heavy bucket and the fire engines are going and all you can hear is the alarms going off. Thanks, Renee. In the Torah portion that we read this week, it's one of my favorite parshas. It's called Parsha Shalach, or Shalach Lecha. And it's a scene that many of you may be familiar with. It's, I'm going to sort of tell it to you straight from the Torah. But what the Torah shares is that our ancestors, they're in the wilderness, and they know where they've been and they know where they want to go, right? They've been in Egypt. They know they want to get to the promised land. But right now, we know that they are sort of stuck in the wilderness, in the Midbar, and they're not particularly happy. So what happens is that there's an instruction given by God to Moshe, which is that the chiefs or appointed people in each tribe, the chiefs of the tribes, are supposed to go out and they're going to scout out the promised land. And then they're going to have some instructions. It's almost like a scavenger hunt. They're going to have to find some fruits. They're going to have to see some people. They're going to have to explore the land. And then they're going to have to come back, and they're going to report back to the community what they saw. Now, what's the point of this mission? The point of the mission is that they're going to come back and tell everyone the amazing things that they saw in this land that's flowing with milk and honey. But what happens is actually something other, and many of you are hopefully familiar with the story. They go, they scout out the promised land, and they see a lot of amazing things. They see grapes that are huge. They see land that's fortified. They see walled cities. They see people. But what they come back with, even carrying their souvenirs, is a report that is dismal. They come back and they say to the people that are awaiting their report, they say, yes, it's a land that's flowing with milk and honey, but basically the people there are giants. They're such giants that we looked like grasshoppers in their eyes. Now, what must it feel like to think of yourself as a grasshopper? And so what happens next? Well, the people start crying. And they don't only start crying like dripping tears, they start weeping and wailing. Every single person in his or her tent, every single person, young and old, male and female, they're all crying. It's like a communal meltdown. And then finally, Joshua and Caleb, 2 of the 12 scouts, rise up and they say, actually, shh. It is a land that's flowing with milk and honey. And yes, the people are huge, but we can do this. Have faith, be courageous, be strong, be resolute, and never forget that God is on our side. We've got this. So I don't really know if all of the people stopped crying in that moment, or if they continued to cry a little through the night, sort of worried and thinking, like, who do we believe? The 10 or the 2? But what I do know is that there must be some message for us tonight in this Torah portion. Because in many ways, I think we're in a place in society in this moment of time where we're like, you know what? Where do we turn? We can't go back. Right now, it doesn't feel so great, but we're having a hard time being hopeful that our tomorrows, that our future will be better. And so this Shabbat, I invite you to hear the voice of Yehoshua and Caleb, of Joshua and Caleb, which is saying, it will get better. The future will be better. And we, if we work together, can create that better world and that promised land. And so, my friends, I will say to you, whatever issues you're holding your water buckets and trying to put out, give your soul some time over Shabbat to rest. And then we have a world that's filled with fires, and we have the potential, the courage, the faith, and the strength to do something about them. Shabbat Shalom.
You with the sad eyes, don't be discouraged or don't realize it's hard to take courage in a world full of people you can lose sight of it all, and darkness inside you can make you feel small. But I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors. That's why I love you. So don't be afraid to let them show your true colors. True colors are beautiful like a rainbow.
We continue on page 118, and we rise for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשיבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת עינו. ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
We pause at this time to remember with reverence the yahrzeits of our beloved departed that are observed from sundown tonight until sundown tomorrow night, the 26th day of Sivan. Israel Atkin, Marvin Boonshaft, Fanny Cohen, Fanny Finglass, Jean Glick, Melvin Jack Goldman, Joseph Goldstein, Adam Philip Janet, Dorothy Manikin, Philip Rauch, Anna Richmond, Rena Gordon Rubin, Minnie Sadek, Alex Satisky, Stanley D. Schlein, Celeste Sokol, Hannah Tannenbaum, Oscar Taman, and Mary Wolfe. Zecher Tzadik Livracha, may their memories always be a blessing. And for those who are in a period of mourning or observing a yahrzeit, please rise for the recitation of the Mourner's Kaddish, page 124. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Bialma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimaru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olamo me'omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha b'rechu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'meru. Amen. Yehesh lama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru. Amen. O says shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'meru. Amen. May your loved ones' memories be a blessing. We turn now to page 128 for Adon Olam.
16.
We are not going to turn to 128. We're going to turn back to page 16. And before we go to Shalom Aleichem, a couple of quick announcements. Services tomorrow morning are at 10 a.m. here in the Berman Rubin Sanctuary at 9 o'clock. No. Oh, we are moving Shabbat morning services. Now that B'nai Mitzvah season is complete, we are going to be meeting in the Gorn Chapel. Thank you, Jill Suffel. At 9 o'clock, we will be doing our Parsha study. That will be online. And tomorrow evening services will be at 8:45. And we want to thank everyone for being with us on Shabbat.
Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Hayon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzitchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu.
Shabbat Shalom.